Matt Dickerson joins me, but he's got the very colourful jersey, which I'm pretty much playing sponsorship bingo as I look at you now, mate. How's it all going for the Tour de Oroc?
Yeah, it's good. It's not actually really built for radio, is it, this jersey? It's much better in a visual medium, but I'm glad you're describing it as very colourful.
Yeah, well, that's it. I am. It's like one of those apps you get on your phone where you're just like a bit bored waiting in the doctor's office, and so you just try to identify all the logos and where they cover. Yeah, it's a bit of a game.
Maybe the Where's Wally of logos.
It's a good way of putting it. But look, how's the jersey going for this year as far as like filling it up? Because you're always trying to break that world record.
Unfortunately, the problem is that the number keeps getting higher as we keep breaking the record. There's a guy in England who likes to try and take it off us, and they've kind of had this charity process over there where they've taken it off us the last couple of years. They didn't manage to get it off us last year because of COVID, so they didn't have the event they normally have. So we actually still hold it at the moment, but we want to increase it just a little bit. So we've got a fair way to go. We've got about 20 logos or 20 sponsors on board already. 114 is the current record which we hold. So we've got a fair way to go there yet, and that's okay. We've got a few months to go. The great part is the riders. We've got 28 riders. That's a record. We've only ever had a maximum of 17 before. We do have a limit of 30 because the police approvals around the roads that we go on, they like to see a limit on how many riders we have. So we've got 30 as a limit. So if anyone's out there interested in riding in it, then get your entry in very soon because, again, I don't think it'll take long for those last 2 spots to go.
Yeah, you're a tough adversary to come up against when it comes to not getting on the bike. You've asked me a couple of times now. You're like, "Hey, do you just want to do a leg? Do you just want to do a little bit, Dan?" I'm like, "I don't have a bike." "I'll get you a bike, mate. I'll get you." You really want me to get on there, don't you?
It's a great experience, Dan, and I reckon it'll be fantastic for you. One of the days is a public holiday, one of the days is the weekend, so I'm sure you could find a bit of time. We'd get you out there, and just being out on the bike for a couple of hours around some of these landscapes, some of the people you meet out there, just the camaraderie on the road with all these people riding along together. I think it's right up your alley, Dan.
Well, it is World Bike Day, and some of these communities that you're talking about, and people and landmarks and stuff. Where's the course taking you? What's the route?
Yeah, so we start off in Mudgee, and the first day is just a couple of 100 kilometres over to Armatry.
Great night. A couple hundred kilometres. That's right.
It's probably one of the toughest days because there's actually a couple of little hills there.
Right.
Most of the rest of the ride is flat, but Armatry Hotel we end up on the first night, so that'll be a fantastic night. Some good entertainment for us there. We go from Armatry up to Walgett for the day 2, Walgett across to Burke for day 3, and there's a couple of great spots there. Walgett, Brewarrina and Burke have always been really supportive of Tour de Oroc, and they use the facilities. They use Macquarie Homestay quite extensively, so you can understand why they're supportive of it. The next day goes from Burke down to Cobar. That's almost a rest day, 160 kilometres, so pretty easy sort of ride down there, dead flat, a couple of little rolling hills into Cobar, but pretty flat. Then we go from Cobar into Warren, and that's Friday night we get to Warren, and that's usually a great night in Warren. We've had a couple other Friday nights there before, and they really put on a good function for us there. And then the last day, roll from Warren in through Narromine, and then out or back into Dubbo into Macquarie Homestay. So all up, about 1,140 kilometres, give or take a couple. Who's counting those last couple there?
Yeah, right. Now, it is to help support the Macquarie Homestay, which is great for families, for those who are getting treatment here at Dubbo Base Hospital. What can you tell us about Macquarie Homestay?
Yeah, Macquarie Homestay did open in 2019, and that was on the back of this event, Tour de Oroc, which started back in 2013. It was designed specifically as a one-off, believe it or not, Dan, to raise some money, some initial seed funding for Macquarie Homestay to get it up and going. It was so successful in the first year that everyone said, let's do it again. It ended up being a biennial ride, so every second year we've done it. We've contributed almost $500,000 towards Macquarie Homestay. It certainly helped it get up and going. Some other government money came in, some other private money came in as well. So it really helped get it started. But the whole idea initially was to get out around the regions that will use Macquarie Homestay. And we're seeing that now. Some of the places that use Macquarie Homestay are places like Burke, Cobar, Walgett, even Mudgee. They're all very big users of Macquarie Homestay. But to give you an idea of how successful it is, 2 months ago they had 59 people turned away. So that was about 2 people a day. Now that's not great to be turning people away. It doesn't sound like something you should boast about, but obviously the rooms are being filled up. People are using the facility. It'd be terrible to do all this riding, and I've ridden about 4,500 kilometres in Tour de Oroc so far. I'd hate to do that and have no one using the facility. I'm very happy that the money that we raise is actually being used in the facility. So the idea here is to keep raising money. There's more stages. The amount of land that council gave to Macquarie Homestay initially to get this started was enough to keep expanding, and they're at stage 1 now, but stage 2 and stage 3, the plans are there, It just needs the money to go and start to complete these stages.
So another 4,500 in your future.
Look, I'll keep doing it until my legs stop. So, and look, bike riding is popular. You mentioned World Bicycle Day. That's a bad rainy day to be out riding a bike today, but it is World Bicycle Day. And people, we are pretty keen on bikes in Australia. People don't realise that we do buy more bikes in Australia than we do buy cars. Now, unfortunately, what often happens is you'll talk to someone and they'll go, oh, yep, I've got a bike hanging in my garage that I haven't ridden for 6 months. So people buy bikes sometimes with a great intention, and then they get to the point where sometimes they don't actually ride it as often. But yeah, we have about 1 million bikes a year that we buy in Australia, so it's quite incredible.
We play a little game here called Google Jeopardy.
It's like fun.
So like I Google something and then we've been playing it with Mick this week, who does the 80s Hour at Work, and the one I threw at him, the figure that I threw at him was 3.43 million, and he had to guess what the question was that I asked Google, and I said, how many Aussies ride bikes weekly?
Weekly.
3.4 for 3 million ride bikes to work.
So we're just over 10% of people who ride bikes weekly. So that's not bad, but we've got a pretty good climate, again, ignoring today, but we've got a pretty good climate to ride bikes in. Typically, we don't have snow, we're not covered in snow, it's not freezing cold. In summer, sure, not great to be riding at midday in summer, but I still ride my bike in summer. I just do it early in the morning or late at night. So we can pretty much ride bikes all year round. But when you see some of the European countries that use bikes, let's say the Netherlands, for example, that use bikes for their daily commute, they do ride no matter what the conditions are. They're very keen and very avid. But it'd be good to see a few more of us riding bikes, I suppose.
Now, how can people get more information and support the Tour de Oroc?
So tour-de-oroc.bike is the website. If you go to that website, you can see the registration form, so you can fill in that, register, bang, you're in, done. You can also sponsor it. There's a range of sponsorship levels, $300, $1,500, $3,000, $5,000, depending on, you saw the jersey there, how big the logos you get, where the logos are positioned, and other benefits you get from sponsorship. But there's also a Give Now page that you can just go and Google Give Now Tour de Oroc 2021, and you can either just sponsor the ride for $2, $5, $20, whatever amount you want, or all the riders have a page set up on their Give Now, so you can see all those riders. So all 28 riders are there. If you know one of them, you want to support one of them, they're all out there doing their own fundraising. We've raised over $50,000 already so far, so that's I'm very happy with that figure when it's only 4.5 months to go. So you can go there, and if you see one of the riders, I want to support Jimmy on there. So you click on Jimmy's name and go and give him $20 or whatever amount you want to give. So we on the ride itself, we have little old ladies come up and open their purse and put out a $1 coin and give to us. So we have donation of $1 up to $10,000 that Toyota pays to be the naming rights sponsor. So there's anywhere in between. We're happy to accept any amount of money.
I really want to ask about the logistics. We might do that in the lead up to the actual event, but I might point out that when you're searching for this, Tour de Oroc, DE space OROC.
Correct.
Yeah, not a rock like that you throw.
No, that's right. And I'm glad that you want to talk about the logistics. That means that you're contemplating getting on a bike because you're interested in the machinations of it all. That's good.
No, I just want to know what I can tie the tow rope to. That's all that is for. Thanks very much for your time this morning, mate.
Thanks, Dan.